and this recording is now started. This is Andrew Williams Jr., and welcome to another Conversations with Andrew Williams Jr., and today with Susan Elsa. This is Earth Show 777. In some ways, it's a replay from 2015 when Susan Elsa and I brought in this new millennium of consciousness, and I'm so happy to be broadcasting, and we may even be broadcasting through the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, yeah, that was a good intro. That was a good intro, Andrew. Hello, everyone. This is Susan Elsa. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be having this conversation with you once again, Andrew. Especially because, I've been very busy. I've been working on things that are very challenging but important. And you're going to see a lot of these projects this year. And I think it's a very good timing, Andrew, that we're talking once again about a few important things today. I don't know what questions you have, right? I like to be natural, but, throw them at me. Let's make this a special Earth Hour 2020 in these, challenging times that we're in. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, Corin.
Hey, I made it.
I see a golden 7, but I'm...
Susie, are you there?
Yes, hello, Andrew.
Yes, you faded out just a moment. Yeah, Corin, I hope you heard the welcome that I gave you, because we're channeling this through the Bermuda Triangle now, and that's
I didn't hear everything. I don't know why, but I'm here.
Well, now we all made it.
Well,
yeah,
I'm sitting in the dark. I'm sitting in the dark with the candle on for Earth Hour, so I don't have much technology on right now. I'm with my phone.
Right. Well, Susan, let's begin by explaining to people who you are, how they can reach you, and give us like a little intro, please.
Well, little intro is always kind of difficult in my case.
Well,
because I'm a very complex person. I always like to call myself a multi-dimensional being.
Okay.
I'm a film director. I have a company. I have a music publishing. I'm always working. I'm very, very spiritual. I do have a strong connection to ancient Egypt and also ancient Egyptian, secret knowledge through an actual past life memory that came up in a special way in my life. And mostly I have a special connection with Michael Jackson. I don't know if you heard about twin souls before. For the people who haven't heard about it yet, it's something that is just the truth here behind every human soul. So all of you that are listening here too, and you, Andrew, and you, Corin, we all, as a complete soul, have a male and a female aspect that makes the complete human soul. And I'm that feminine aspect to Michael Jackson. So that's who I am.
Well, that certainly is a very good beginning, but how can people reach you? Your name? Do you have a website? Do you have a Facebook? Do you have services people can use? That's what I meant by a little intro, Susie.
Yeah, that's a little bit special in my case. I have been a little bit busy. I have been doing certain things. I've been working on a TV show here in Switzerland, doing spiritual consulting, you can say, doing a little bit of energy work, far distance, a little bit of magic, like ancient Egyptian stuff. I never thought that I would do that actually on live TV, but I did. And I helped quite a few people, and that made me so happy that I'm able to do something, And that's why I haven't been blogging much, but I'm very active on my blog now again. Archangel Michael 777 is the name. And you can always like send me a comment there, send me through the contact form a message, and I'll write back to you an email. And you can also go to www.mystery then linegarden.com, and there you can always through the contact form or info@mysterygarden.com you can send me an email.
Well, this is a relatively very special time. This is not only March, which is International Women's Month, but today is actually Earth Hour. And for those of our viewers who don't know what that is, perhaps you can explain what you've been doing and what the meaning is to you, Susan.
Yeah, well, to me it's very special too, Andrew, because it's also coincidentally the 10-year anniversary, I call it, for, you know, Michael's successful, move to prove to me from spirit after he passed that he is well. He was able to show up. I was able to see him, like all these things that happened between me and him because of this twin soul connection. These supernatural things I obviously never expected and didn't see coming, to be honest. That was 10 years ago. That was exactly 10 years ago.
Wow.
You know?
Okay.
So, and we're nearing the precise date, which is also my birth date, right? 14th April 2020 is going to be the 10-year anniversary of my twin soul pop, which is like spiritually channeled music. Is like more a process, a method with which I work with Michael. And all of that started in the spring, like in March, literally 2010. And by April, he had convinced me to put out this song, One Love, that was just channeled through him, like telling me what to do on my little Mac at home. And then I put it out. So a lot has happened since.
For those that don't know, you actually did, in fact, travel to Los Angeles to have that original meeting. Is that correct?
Travel to Los Angeles. I traveled to Los Angeles because I was studying film directing. So I lived there for a while.
Okay.
And yeah, that's how coincidentally or by spiritual fate, I like to say, I ran into Michael and at Panera Bread in Santa Monica.
So there is actually a physical connection with a spiritual relationship that exists.
Yes, and I am just saying that because I saw recently that the CEO of Panera Bread has been helping people. They've been helping people with food deliveries and all that in these difficult times, and I like that a lot, you know. So I just want to say this is very nice, and I enjoyed hearing that, and it made me feel good that because this is the place where me and Michael got into contact.
So now it's time perhaps for us to unmute and bring in Mr. Corn Smith, if he's available to do an introduction, because he's very much a part of our Earth Show 777. So Corn, the floor is yours.
Hey, hi Andrew, hi Susie. Good to be here. I wasn't here for the original show 5 years ago, but I'm here now.
Excellent, welcome.
I enjoy bringing the two of you together. I'm basically a lifelong, I would say, Michael Jackson fan. I just grew up. I love Michael Jackson's vibe, you know. And when Michael made his transition, it had a huge effect on me. And it led me on my own sort of search to understand his life a lot better as a what I consider to be not just a fan of Michael, but someone that really invested a lot of time studying his method and his message, you know. And it was in that sort of examination of Michael's sort of work that I was led to sort of use the internet to sort of piece different pieces of the puzzle together, like what happened, where things were going, and so forth. And that's how I ultimately found Susan Elsa. You know, interesting enough, it was catapulted aggressively when our mutual colleague Lou Myers, the chairman of emeritus of GBI, died in 2013. And at his funeral, one of the supporters of the Michael Jackson, the Jackson Family Foundation, thought that he could work with GBI to create a Jackson Family Museum in Leimert Park in LA. That it came clear to me that there was a need to really focus on the Jackson Family Foundation interest in Michael Jackson and so forth. And to think that it was Lou Myers' funeral in 2013 that sort of triggered everything is very surprising, you know? And it was Lou Myers that, when he was suffering his illness and on his deathbed, was saying, like, you know, to his partner, our president, Paul McDonald, you know, he's not afraid of death. Death is just a new beginning. He's quantum leaping to 2020. You know, for the cause, you know. So Lou Myers had no fear of death. He was projecting this this futuristic agenda that we're all connected to, and it was that burial that ultimately brought the Jackson Family Foundation into our team and legitimized my own search for answers about Michael's legacy. So it's great to hear now, you know, 7 years later, at least, to, I think, have formed a fully realized plan with Susie, watching her sort of blossom and come to this stage in her life where she can sort of really go forward into the broader universe and start to tell her story, and us being a part of it. Well, that's my job. I see myself as a supporter of Michael's work and looking to finish what he started in changing the face of pop culture, you know?
Well, my own relationship with Michael Jackson began much earlier than yours, Corin, or even yours, Susan. It actually began with his appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, because Michael Jackson and I are the same age, or at least we were born during the same year. So of course, when I saw him, I visualized myself at that age and being him on the stage of the Ed Sullivan Show. But so throughout his career, I've always felt that bond with him. Actually, Prince was also born during that same year. So, you know, these are two very powerful artists that had a lot to do with my life. But even before Michael Jackson, it was James Brown who began a series of hits in 1957. Every year he had top 10 hits. I was born in 1958, but of course I was conceived in 1957. So actually I have the rhythm of the soul and the funk. It was born into my DNA, so to speak. So so I'm very glad to be able to, here in Los Angeles, have the opportunity to represent what we call This Place LA, which is dedicated to that thought and that power of Michael Jackson. So I'm happy to be a part of this collaboration.
Yeah, and let me tell you something here, though, because of a few things you said that I noticed, Andrew, because this is a special time. And I'm sure Cord will agree. He knows very well about my thinking. He's actually very capable of understanding the interaction also that is happening between me and Michael now that he's in spirit, because of course that's different than when he was in human form, right? But I have to say that it's very interesting to watch that the tone is also changing now in how the people are perceiving Michael, and that finally you said, you know, that you have had a relationship with Michael, so to speak, longer than me. I have to say, Andrew, no offense, but that's not possible. Meaning a twin soul, right? Or a soul, a human soul is born before we come to this planet.
Okay.
There are other dimensions to us all that are eternal and that have been around before this earth existed, and that will also still be around if this earth for some reason would not exist anymore, or we wouldn't live on it anymore. And here we get to the important point, because, you know, I'm saying this because I want you to start thinking more broad, right? And not just about this life, because we do have different life times, we have incarnations, and this is important because the soul learns in these different incarnations, right? And that's how we get to the point where we're so ready to go into the next life form, to start even learning more stuff and evolve and blossom, you know. And that's why it's important, because the thinking, like Michael said in one of his songs that he wrote for Siegfried and Roy, said the mind is the magic, you know. And that's true. With your mind, you can affect and influence many things, including your own body, you know. And I've been watching the things that are going on also right now with the press, and everyone knows what I think about the press and what they did to Michael, right? But now we are in a time where we're being called to change, like make that change. And Michael said that too. It's very special. It's showing more and more, right, that to people that his music had a spiritual premonition element to it too.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And everything that he said in his music, at least when he had his solo career, was really meant that way. It came from his soul. It wasn't something where he was pretending ever. He was always, if he was anything, too honest with the public, too open, too naive, too trusting, you know. And then he moved into the extreme opposite after feeling backstabbed and abused and lied about and defamed. He didn't trust anyone anymore. But I'm just saying that the public could have had with Michael a much better relationship, and he would have done more interviews and such if he was treated differently, you know. Right.
Well, here we are now in 2020, Susan. So what is your vision for what we're going through now, and how does that impact what you're bringing to the table for the world?
Yeah. Well, it's very important that people realize the connection between things. And that's, yeah, I see that as my main job. I don't see myself mainly as a film director or as a music publisher and all these things. Mainly, that's why I said, mainly I see myself as this soul that is here right now, that has all these memories and this knowledge, and that is connected to Michael in that way, in that twin soul way, in order to help finish what he started, to finish his job, the very thing for which he worked himself into complete physical and mental exhaustion. You know, like, people have no idea. Michael fought for this planet. Michael fought for humanity, you know. He fought for healing the world. And so that's what I see is the main thing about me. And that's why I'm talking now, because, you know, it's important. And Michael wanted me to talk now and basically be available to people and basically, support people, help people as much as we can right now.
Oh, that's amazing and powerful. Corin, there's also a very empowering message that you've been able to develop with this, what you call the spark for humanity, that itself was a design that was created because of sacred architecture, but you found a way to frame that in such a way that it actually delivers solutions that are practical and powerful in this food desert that so many of our communities are experiencing. Perhaps you could explain to us a little bit about what that means.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. It's interesting because when I first connected with Susie, based on her writings and so forth online, it sort of, to me, opened up a whole new universe of Michael's perspective, because I never had sort of really taken to heart the essence of his name, Michael, which is named after the archangel Michael. It's kind of an obvious thing in hindsight, but during his lifetime, I never really made a big deal about the fact that he was named after Archangel Michael. And Susie just made it very clear, that Michael was the incarnation, or is the incarnation, of Archangel Michael. Okay, very, very bold pronouncement, and that Archangel Michael is also incarnated in Osiris, the prince or the king of Egypt, the creator, the founder of what we now know as civilization from an Egypt perspective, including the influence of Osiris on the agricultural sort of heritage of Egypt,
That's right, and I'm glad you're mentioning that, Corinne, because I just want to say something important here, because Osiris, yes, he had many titles, including the Black King. So this is here also the Black history element. Plus, if we go back into this ancient Egyptian history, that part, what did Osiris do? And I mean, not the spiritual and mythological and supernatural part of the story now. I mean, when he was just a human being, when he was king, he introduced different diets. He introduced a vegetarian diet and basically veganism, you could say, vegetarianism, and that's why the ancient Egyptian bread recipe was invented back then too, basically by Osiris and Isis. We were looking for the ingredients. We found the wheat, the barley, these things. That stuff was put into that recipe, and it was something that is natural, without having to eat meat to survive. And now we are in a time where that becomes again very important. And from my perspective, I sometimes wonder how come that we had all this wisdom back in the day, like so long ago, including many other folks as well, like the Native Americans have a lot of knowledge, or ancient Indians, ancient Chinese, like so much knowledge has been lost. Why? Why are we living in a way with a lifestyle now that is like a backwards evolution, not forward? If we were smarter thousands of years ago.
Yeah, and so Jackson's sort of namesake, or his capacity to absorb that divine union with the creator, that spark of inspiration, that sort of crystallized consciousness for me, in hindsight, is very compelling. And it's the essence of me saying, oh, so that spark, that God particle, that thing that we consider to be the soul, the the life force. Michael actually was able to capture all that and lock it off in public scrutiny, under public scrutiny, and project it into this doctrine, Heal the World, the music of Heal the World, even the Earth song itself, which to me was, I call it like the magnum opus of his life, that testament to the earth. And so in working through all these details, for me, the way to sort of at least support what Susie's doing, what Michael's doing, was to, you know, say, yes, let's encompass the Earth song message. Let's create this Earth show format to just remember and reflect on and organize around that particular thing. He wasn't just about music in and of itself, although he mastered the art of music. He was also creating a vehicle of community to heal the world. You know, and it was in that essence, I just brought that consciousness forward. We were able to harness the resources that Andrew has in LA with the Encounter LA think tank for urban planning, and challenge that think tank to look at urban planning through the eyes of Osiris and these great names of civilization, and be able to attract this new architectural technique or engineering technique, which the engineer, Richard Nelson, himself says was inspired by Michael Jackson's Heal the World song, where Michael says, take a little space and make a better place. The engineer said, based upon that inspiration, he chose to make his engineering technique as small as possible to what we now would call an agripod, like a structure that can fit in everybody's backyard to help them grow their own foods, fresh, clean foods, you know? So we've been able to
And I was thinking about that. Let me just throw in, right? Like that when anyone also hears this, you know, anyone hears about this and is interested, right? To have like, especially now in these times, I think many people will see why it makes sense, the agripod, you know? And like you say, you can have it in your backyard. If you have a backyard and then you know your food is clean, nobody touched it except for you, you know, like it's a very, very good concept, technology for agriculture. And we will definitely, I would say, have a special show on this some point.
Yeah, and so the spark, that was the galvanizing sort of, I guess, consciousness to create this structure we call the spark. Yes, it's the design. It's like the car is the agripod, but the brand is the spark. In terms of this initial series, this initial launching pad, and the knowledge around it is the spark for humanity. So, Earth Show and Earth Show 77. You know, this whole Archangel Michael consciousness, this whole commitment to sacred geometry, sacred disciplines, the sanctity of life, all that to me was a way of reflecting on and reinforcing what Michael himself, given that he is still here amongst us, influencing us, especially with Susie's energy, this is the sort of things he would be doing. I'm sorry,
yeah, well, the point is also, yeah. The point is also that this is a very serious time. And Michael did not just talk about fun things. He talked about very difficult things as well, or he tried bringing attention to things that we have to change. And he was living in a way that is actually very futuristic, because he was feeling the earth, just like me, by the way. I've been feeling like my breathing has gotten so much better the recent 2 months, because I'm literally feeling how the earth, like I'm feeling it in my body, how the earth is recovering from all this pollution, you see? And I remember people mocking Michael for walking around with a mask. The man was traveling everywhere. He was going through different climates, meeting different people. He was going to Africa, to the furthest villages. Like, it was Michael Jackson, you know what I mean? He went to places other people did not go to. So he took care of himself, you see, and people mocked him. He didn't want to get sick and not be able to sing for you guys. So, you know, he meant well. And now we are in a time where I mean, people had to wait and wait and wait and keep not listening, right? And keep spreading this like negativity or pollution. Also, we're not just talking about physical stuff here. We're talking about spiritual energy, spiritual matter. We're talking about history. In certain places, you have karmic energy that gets stuck like in the place itself, like geographically, you know. These things can be healed. That's why I was a few years back at the Bermuda Triangle to do just that. It's like an earth energy healing work, I call it. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm also doing this interview today to just make people aware and raise awareness that if you want to also in these times, you know, do something constructive while you're at home, hopefully, you know, while you are growing your understanding for people around you again, because that's important. We have to think about other people and not just ourselves, you know. And if we're fit and we don't have a problem, that does not mean that we can, you know, do whatever we want. If everyone's telling you just stay at home a little bit, right? Because there's other people who might get harmed by this virus, right? So these type of things are, to me, a result of human behavior towards nature, towards animals, towards ourselves. And that's where we get back to Michael's Man in the Mirror. Corin said, heal the world. We Are the World is another song he did. And then you have also the special songs with We Are Here to Change the World. That's another one from the Captain EO soundtrack. It's a short film that was back at Disney back in the day.
Yeah, I recall.
At 3D, exactly.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So all these things, you know, like if you look at Michael's work, you'll see that he was basically kind of like Nostradamus style, and I'm not kidding, giving you in an entertainment way, but if you analyze it closely, hints to what you should, or not hints, like a message to what you should change, what you should watch out for, how we should adjust again and remember the time when we were more wise in dealing with nature, right? Remember the truth, ourselves, etc., so that we can get the best now out of our world, our lives here on earth, and not destroy everything around us. That's not why we're here. This is not God's original plan, and we're never going to be also stronger than the earth. And like people are learning now the hard way, you know, a little virus is stronger than us. You see?
Yes.
So it makes sense, like, make that change, you know? And the next time you want to hurt an animal, the next time you want to spill something chemical into a river, think about what that will do to your own health, to the air you breathe, you know? Because without breathing, you can't live. Without eating, you can't live. Without drinking clean water, you can't survive. So let's take this as a lesson, like the final wake-up call. And you see how my voice is turning, because this is Michael's energy when it comes true. When he is like putting this energy through me, because he's very, very serious about this, and he sees more than me. He's not even showing me everything because he likes to protect me, you know, and have me always happy and in a good mood, you know, and I'm very compassionate and I'm very sensitive. But this is the time, I'm telling you, to make that change. We won't have 1,000 chances. You know, we're already very late.
Right.
very late in
Right.
making that change.
Well, Corin, that
How long ago did Michael say that already? Think about that.
well, he did say in his last song. That's Corin. I want to bring this back to you because Earth Song is one of those songs that had a very powerful impact on the world. But Corin, is the timing of that was very special in Michael's performance career, and that impacted your decision to. Well, I'll let you tell the story, so I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Earth Song was, yeah, for me, it was, well, this, it was the last song that he performed live, and Michael's life to me demonstrates this sort of, I call it supersymmetry, in that like certain events in history always repeat themselves, like the American Revolution or the Industrial Revolution, or they just keep on repeating, or the interpretation of the Book of the Dead, or the discovery of aviation. They keep on propelling themselves. Michael's life has that sort of supersymmetry when you look at it from start to finish. Even now, 10 years later, his life is still repeating itself, or being repeated or retold or reinterpreted, and to think that with all the things that Michael went through, the last song would be Earth Song, to me, which was monumental. Now, what for me is the most prophetic about Earth Song is, over and above the film for it and the characters and the themes in the end of the film, is this invocation of Abraham and the dying man at the last sort of chorus, the last verse, is invoking the biggest name of prophecy, Abraham, the father of monotheism, as an anchor of like how humanity has to come together, So that's just to get that off my chest, in terms of Earth Song is a very critical, a very pivotal song in his supersymmetry, his life story. And to me, you can't have Earth Hour or Earth Day in pop culture and not reference that particular song in the observation of these planetary or these global events, But putting that song in proper context of humanity and whatnot would be our work as the sort of Bermuda Triangle connection for Michael, or with Michael. The safe haven or the twilight zone sort of Atlantean civilization root chakra of the planet, where Michael's truth can be revealed. It's not going to come from Hollywood. It's not going to come from
Oh, it's definitely not going to come from Hollywood. But let me say something about the Earth Song, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because this song is about the planet, the Earth, like we said. And if you look at it, if you look back at it and you listen to it, you'll see that the whole hook of it, right? It's not even sentences or words. It's just basically Michael expressing like a channel to the, he always loved being the voice of the voiceless, right? He did that for children. And he did the same thing with that song for the planet, you see? Because the planet can't tell us in a verbal human way, hey, stop doing this to me, So this song represents Michael channeling the Earth's pain. And that's why it's like he's screaming, like he's having pain. That's what the hook is throughout the whole song. Think about that.
I can feel that, but I had a very specific outcome I had in mind, Corin, and that was last year. Little Dicky did I guess you perhaps call it a minstrel revision of one of Michael's songs, and it got a lot of airplay. It was very popular. But how did that impact you, and how has that brought us here today?
Yeah. It's been a relentless, I would say, I think a relentless sort of attempt to sort of cancel Michael's influence or legacy or deconstruct it from all different parts of, I think, pop culture, whether, you know, and to some degree, it was happening during Michael's lifetime, the attempts to sort of define him or shape him or you know, crucify him, you know. So we all watched, in terms of our generation, Andrew, you know, the upside and the downside of Michael's fame, you know. But yes, with the, I think, relentless afterlife scrutiny of Michael's legacy, the call for planetary consciousness or pop cultural manipulation of the mass agenda, many people have been trying to exploit or take or recreate pop culture, whether it be in the spirit of Michael or in spite of or beyond Michael, you know. And last year, it really came to a head because it was the natural sort of 10-year anniversary of Michael's transition, and all kinds of confusion was thrown up to distort that reality, including, you know, the Leaving Neverland documentary on the one side, or for that matter, the arrival of this sort of Earth song by Little Dicky.
Yeah.
Which sort of, it was.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
You know me, and you know you can't mention that without me having to say something.
Hey,
now
go
that
ahead.
you brought this up.
Go ahead.
Yeah. This is when I get serious, because, you know, this is one of those things with which you can make me become your most dangerous spiritual enemy that you are capable of imagining. You understand that? And do you feel the energy? Like, I'm talking now to the people who think that it was a good idea last year to make this documentary and throw it together last minute because someone else made a documentary about this Harvey Weinstein guy. Okay? And this stuff has been going on in Hollywood, and everything is exposed, you know. And I'm pretty sure that many of these folks are aware that Michael in spirit and their guilt is basically what's the karma, is what's chasing them down and exposing them. And of course, finally, God's justice and truth, and making everything possible so that the innocent's image gets washed clean. And the people who are doing these things on this planet and spreading this energy, yes, that finally is very destructive for all of us, for the mass consciousness, etc. The very opposite of what Michael was doing with his work, right? That is something that must be stopped, because every time they say something that is not true about Michael, and that is on purpose malicious, trying to eat away from his legacy and from everything he fought for and worked hard for all his life, is not something I want to watch while I'm here as his twin soul, you know. And people have been maybe you know, wondering in the past about my aggression about this, my anger about this, but I'm sticking to it, you know. I became much calmer in the meantime. I can handle it. But this documentary was definitely something where I felt that there will be a big reply that will not be funny from spirit for those people. It was wrong, and it should be just like Hitler's Mein Kampf. This documentary should be forbidden because it's based on a racist witch hunt that keeps going against a person that passed. That should be forbidden.
Yeah, we've been through a relentless decline in privacy, in sort of the presumption of innocence, the idea of the soul, basic tenets of, I guess, humanity have been thrown under the bus in the last 10 years. And in many ways, it's inevitable when you transition into a new medium like electronic or internet sciences, differently from the printing press, which made the Bible as well as a signature document available to the masses. Now we've entered into the digital realm where your privacy can in fact be released into the public domain. Michael was one of the first real subjects of this kind of fascination, where his private telephone calls or his movements would actually be put everywhere all the time, a relentless invasion of his privacy. Now, not everybody would be willing to or would even anticipate that that could be a thing, but Michael would be the first sort of real avatar or subject matter of that, and probably last the test of time as that first person of real fascination for this particular era, right? So in the shock of this new digital universe invading his privacy and relitigating his life, 2019, the 10-year anniversary of his transition, could have been or might have been presumed to have been the natural place to put his life in its full perspective, although it was used to try and cancel him.
Now hold on, because now we gotta also get to the end of this, because we gotta get back to the Earth Hour topic, please. Because of the energy and everything I explained, and no, the truth is that last year many things happened. Many things happened that are positive. They're just not saying it. And we're not going to focus on this. That's what I'm talking about. This energy is what brought us to this place. What brought the planet. The planet is sick. The human beings have made the planet sick. And now we are getting sick. We are manifesting disease. It's out of control. And that's what we need to talk about now. You understand? It's very important. I'm aware that there's a fascination, because for everyone listening, we're having this interview, this talk, very raw, freestyle. I in fact asked to not have any preparation or questions or so sent to me before, because that's what I am. I'm honest. I want to be open and honest with all of you. And it's important that we learn from this lesson. I'm aware that people have a personal fascination with Michael Jackson, but to me, this is very different. Like when you talk with someone who has spent some time with Michael in their lifetime, worked with Michael, is a relative of Michael, that's one thing. Being his twin soul is a completely different thing, and I'm in the same thought as he is, and he's guiding me, in fact. And that is why I'm having this talk with you guys, to talk about the earth, to talk about the frequency, and to talk about what we have to change, like to get to the bottom of things, to take action, to make that change.
Right. Right.
So it's time that people actually realize that Michael was not something to be put on a pedestal, like he's not a human being, he doesn't have the same feelings, he doesn't need sleep and food and privacy and all these things. And it's time to like he said, like, why you want to trip on me, in one of his songs on the Dangerous album, when there's all of these things going on in the world, including, he mentioned specifically, strange diseases. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well,
And he
actually,
was a vegetarian, and he had a zoo at Neverland. He had all kinds of animals and was playing with them, but he was not eating them. You see what I mean? He was
mhm.
treating them well. He was being their friend. He was playing with them. So many things he did, not just in his music, but in his life. Yes, as a person, he was a good role model for people to learn from, and also for men, by the way, on how to be a gentleman for younger folks out there who nowadays just don't know much anymore about like old school gentleman style, you know. Just say.
Yes, even chivalry and all that stuff. It still has a very real
Exactly.
meaning.
There
Yes,
you go.
and even
There you go.
even etiquette that has a very important place in all this.
Exactly.
However,
There you
Susan, the point I was trying to lead Corin through to the Spark for Humanity was that that song sparked the Mother Earth song, or the remix of Mother Earth, and that was a Grammy-nominated song, and that had a very powerful implications all over the world, and it even led to the more recent Mother Earth song for Anika Best that actually led us through this past New Year's Eve to have a drum circle around the world to bring a healing vibration to the world. So, Corin, this is kind of that I would like for you to, or one of you.
We went into the fire to signal that we can use reggae music to shift the whole toxic waste syndrome very aggressively, you know. And to me, it was a way to sort of transition what was initially channeled by Michael as a One Love theme, which is very much a reggae theme from Africa origins, you know, into the diplomacy around how we shift the focus of these, what I call them minstrelized versions of history, you know. People have appropriated African culture relentlessly since the fall of Egypt, you know. And now is a chance to recalibrate and shift. And yes, 2020 becomes a whole new frontier for I think pop culture, especially with what we're now going through this week, I guess, as a monumental shift of focus with this whole I guess pandemic thing. To me, it was interesting enough, of all things, to see so the Soul Makossa musician make his transition. The guy, the song that influenced "Want to Be Starting Something."
Oh yeah, that also has historical relevance too, because that was the first African or first artist of African descent to have a top 40 hit in the United States.
Yeah,
so that was very relevant. Yes.
Yeah, it highlights Michael was bringing African culture. He was obviously looking at Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and all kinds of things. I think you can see like laced in his were part of his influence, even at that pivotal time, you know. So we're in a whole new, I think, universe at this stage in pop culture. And Michael's, I think, universal themes are now, I think, very much in very good position to just dominate the airwaves. You know, yes, Earth Hour, I think, is a legitimate focal point for Michael's influence to be respected. I think Earth Day is another one that will become more and more tuned into Michael's energy. The things that could have, should have, might have happened in 2019 can actually now take place in 2020, really untainted, undistracted. And this is just as I see it, what was always the, I think, intention of the Earth Show format. I think we ourselves had predicted it, because we were saying that we were quantum leaping to 2020, not 2019.
Right. Yes.
Interesting enough, you know.
Right.
So here it is, Earth Show.
Yes.
And what a move. There's no live events, no major concerts, nothing allowed. Okay.
Right.
But whatever does
Yes,
come out of this pandemic, it's going to be something different.
yeah, but you see that like the pollution is already decreasing everywhere, and nature is breathing. Like I've heard from different directions, different countries, that there are actual like different animals being visible again that haven't been seen in years, you know, because people are at home, because people leave for once a little bit of space to breathe for nature, because they're at home. You see, which shows that when we go out, we misbehave. We don't know how to be in a good relationship with nature anymore and with the animals. And that's what we have to remember. That's what we have to change, because it means that we change the way we treat ourselves. Look at how people treat each other. And this virus, in a very tough lesson, I just want to say, is also showing people that we're all one race, meaning the human race. There's no black or white. We're all the same.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
I was on. Well, you could. I was on mute, so that's why you couldn't hear me.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying this thing the first time too, but it's a very good quality. So, but guys, I am a workaholic, and like I said, I have so much to do for the people and
Right.
for helping with all of this change and making it comfortable and entertaining. And so I got to get back to work.
Well, I can only let you go, Susie, if you promise to come back again on Earth Hour, which is the 50th
yes.
anniversary of Earth Hour.
Earth
Oh,
Day.
really?
Earth
Oh,
Day. I'm sorry, Earth Day.
nice.
Yes. Yeah, April 22nd.
Very nice.
All right, very good.
Yes.
Well, all right. Well, Susan, Elsa, thank you so very much. Corin Smith, thank you so very much. This has been Earth Show 777 part. Well, I guess you'll call this the Quantum Leap, right, Susie? Since we started this in 2015, right? So here we are again, 5 years later. Thank you so much for joining us. We do expect to rebroadcast this later today, and also on the Revelation Network, trn.tv, International News, as well as Universal Citizens Media Network, UCIT.tv. So Susie, I'll keep you apprised, and you can share that with your massive number of fans so they can all enjoy what we've just experienced with you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And let me say one last thing, you know, because I really just want everyone that hears this to know that you are not alone. And I'm not just saying that because there's a song that Michael did that is saying that. You are never alone. There's always angels. There's always your loved ones in spirit. There's always God watching over us. And there's a lot of forgiveness also in the air and opportunities to still make that change. And together we can make this world such a nicer place, you know, that we all can live healthy, have no hunger, have a minimum diseases or health problems. And that's the vision, to make this planet as close as possible like heaven, you know, and respect each other and love each other. And that means all of us, like including the animals who also have souls and can help us a lot in our evolution. You know, I believe in the people, and I'm praying every day also right now for the United States of America and the Americans, and also the Native Americans, you know, in this situation. So I'm with you in spirit, and Michael is with you in spirit, and everything will be fine. Just keep the faith up now.
Well, you've timed that so perfectly that it's time now for you to end up to let people know how to reach you for those people that weren't joining us at the beginning, Susan. So please,
yes,
if you'd be so kind.
Yes, if you want to reach me, the best way is to just send an email to info at mysteryconnectionlinegarden.com, or you can also just go on my blog, Archangel Michael 777, It's kind of a very known blog. So there you can comment, you can send me a message, contact me anytime. And I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can.
Well, thank you so much. And we're out of time. Please have a fantastic day. This is another Conversations with Andrew Williams Jr. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.